Stop booking cruise excursions through the ship. Here's what savvy cruisers do. Instead, cruise lines are overcharging you by up to 50% on shore excursions, and most passengers hand over that money without ever questioning it. You step off the ship, pay $150 per person, squeeze onto a bus with 60 strangers, and 2 hours later you're back at the dock with a blurry photo and a receipt you'd rather not think about. That's not a vacation. That's a business model. And the moment you understand how it actually works, you'll never fall for it again. Here's what cruise lines don't want you to know. When you browse that polished list of tours on the ship's app, it looks curated and trustworthy. But the cruise line isn't running those tours. They're acting as a middleman between you and a local operator, and they're marking up the price before it ever reaches you. The tour itself is often the exact same experience you could have booked directly for significantly less, and the numbers make that impossible to ignore. In Grand Cayman, Princess Cruises charges $80 per person for a 2.5-hour Stingray swim. Book that same experience directly through a local operator, and you're typically paying $40 to $50. In Juneau, Alaska, where cruise excursion prices are among the highest in the industry, ship-sponsored glacier tours regularly run $140 or more per person. Independent operators offering nearly identical experiences charge closer to $80. And in Mykonos, one traveler found a wine tasting excursion through Celebrity Cruises listed at over $115 per person. She booked it independently through a third-party platform for just under $75 for two. That's money that stayed in her pocket instead of the cruise lines. Now multiply those savings across every port on a 7-day itinerary, and you start to understand why experienced cruisers stopped booking through the ship a long time ago. But there's one reason people still fall for it. Fear, specifically the fear of missing the ship. And honestly, that fear makes complete sense. Nobody wants to watch their floating hotel disappear over the horizon from some foreign dock. But here's the truth. Cruise lines conveniently leave out. Independent tour companies that specifically serve cruise passengers offer the exact same guarantee. Companies like Vider, Shore Excursions Group, and Get Your Guide build guaranteed return times directly into their cruise bookings. If their tour runs late and you miss the ship, they arrange your transportation to the next port at their expense. The safety net is still there. The markup just isn't. And here's something the cruise line genuinely cannot offer you, no matter how much you pay. When you book through the ship, you are one of 60 people on a coach following a fixed script. When you book independently, especially with a smaller operator, you might be one of 8. You can ask questions. You can slow down at the moment that actually moves you instead of being nudged along by a guide with a clipboard and a countdown. Some operators will build an entirely custom itinerary around what your group actually wants to see. That is a different experience at a lower price, and that combination is exactly why this matters. So where do you actually go? TripAdvisor is one of the strongest starting points. Search your port name, filter by tours and experiences, and look specifically for reviews left by cruise passengers. Viator and Get Your Guide are both excellent options with thousands of excursions organized by port and verified by real travelers. And for something more personal, simply searching your port name followed by private tour or small group tour will often surface local guides who do this every day and charge far less than anything on the ship's list. The key is to book in advance. The best tours fill up fast, and the ones still available last minute are usually the ones worth skipping. One last thing worth knowing, and this is something most people only understand after they've done it once. Not every port needs a structured tour at all. In places like Key West, Nassau, or San Juan, some of the most memorable moments of an entire cruise happen in the space between the dock and somewhere no tour bus has ever stopped. A side street, a local cafe, a conversation that wasn't on any itinerary. The passengers who know this are the ones who come home with actual stories. And once you book your first independent excursion, or simply walk off the ship with no plan and come back richer for it, you'll realize something instantly. You weren't just overpaying. You were missing the entire experience, and after that, there's no going back.